Hello everyone and welcome back to my Senate election prediction videos, where I take a look at the Senate races going on across America this election cycle, and I give my thoughts, analysis, and prediction on the race. And this needs to be noted. My prediction is not how I hope the Senate race will come out, it's how I believe the Senate race will come out in the end. And without any further ado, let's take a look at the state of Maryland. The Maryland Senate seat up for election this cycle is currently held by the Democratic Party, and the incumbent senator is Senator Ben Cardin. He is in his third term. Senator Cardin has decided to retire at the end of his term and not seek re-election. In 2018, Senator Cardin's margin of victory was 34%, a very comfortable result. In 2020, Joe Biden won the state by 33%. Maryland is one of the most heavily Democrat states in the nation, and Democrats generally win races in this state by a very comfortable margin. Even when Joe Biden was still the Democratic nominee for president, presumptive nominee for president, I believed that he was going to win this state. After Joe Biden dropped out, that became a foregone conclusion. I believe that Vice President Harris will win the state of Maryland, if not by the same margin that President Biden won it in 2020, by a much larger margin. So, in the 2024 race, I believe that Maryland will stay blue in the presidential race. Let's take a look at the two nominees for the Senate seat. The Democratic primary was very competitive, and in the end, Prince George County Executive Angela Alsobrooks was the nominee. Prior to becoming county executive, she served as county attorney and has been active in politics for most of her adult life, as a Democratic activist and as an elected official. Her Republican opponent is the former Governor Larry Hogan, who served from 2015 until 2023. Even though Hogan was a Republican, he won 2 elections in Maryland and was very popular. He received high approval ratings throughout his term and was a prized recruit by Republicans in this cycle, who have been recruiting Hogan to run either for president or for Senate for quite some time. Let's take a look at the primary results. Both primaries were contested. About 70% of Maryland voters cast ballots for Democrats, and about 29% cast them for Republicans. As I said, Senator Cardin is retiring, and Republicans believe that Governor Hogan is a prized recruit. As I said, he was a Republican who won election in an overwhelmingly Democratic state and had high approval ratings throughout his term in office. However, Maryland also had an overwhelmingly Democratic state legislature at the time, so Hogan's ability to pursue robust policies was quite limited. Also, there is a trend where popular governors of differing parties of their state run for Senate. You have Bill Weld, who ran in Massachusetts. Former Governor Phil Bredesen ran in Tennessee. Bob Kerrey, even though he had been a former senator, ran again in Nebraska in 2012. There is a string of governors from opposite parties running for the Senate, and the results are generally not favorable. I think that people are more willing to elect a governor of an opposite party than they are a senator, and especially in the fraught political environment we are today, because in the end, Larry Hogan would vote for the Republican Senate Majority Leader, and Angela Alsobrooks wouldn't. And that while Hogan may vote against some extreme Republican legislation that a majority of Marylanders probably oppose, the organizational vote is the one that counts. And, there's also not a lot of proof that in the end, some of these more moderate Republicans would vote the way they profess on the campaign trail. So I've never bought the argument from some that this race is anything but a slam dunk for the Democratic Party. I have believed for a long time that Republicans are just wish casting here, trying to make Democrats spend race on a race that they shouldn't devote resources to from other more competitive races. So my belief is that in the end, Senator Alsobrooks, she will become the next senator from the state of Maryland. The county executive, Mrs. Alsobrooks, will become Senator Alsobrooks. So that's my belief on the race. The Democrats will win this race, and it will be a Democratic hold.